There is clearly a traffic congestion problem at the Rose Quarter I-5 intersection in Portland, a critical portion of Interstate 5, and it must be addressed. The current proposal, however, is environmentally destructive and far too expensive, and, perhaps more importantly, does not include any improvements to public transit along the I-5 corridor here. AOTA, the Association of Oregon Rail and Transit Advocates, proposes a lower-cost solution that is environmentally friendly and increases public transit capacity and social equity. This proposal was primarily developed by Jim Howell, AOTA director and former public transit planner, now retired from TriMet. Note that all of the maps in this presentation include an arrow indicating which direction is north. Traffic congestion occurs when there is insufficient capacity to meet the demand. There are two possible approaches to correcting this problem: adding capacity or reducing demand. The current proposal for reducing congestion at the Rose Quarter I-5 intersection focuses on only one approach: adding more capacity. This approach, however, has been shown to fail wherever it has been implemented, because increasing capacity only induces greater demand, thereby increasing traffic volume and bringing more congestion. The solution proposed here rejects the increased capacity approach, focusing instead on the reduced demand approach by providing a transit alternative. The portion of the I-5 corridor that runs through urban Portland is poorly served by public transit, accommodating only travel between the Rose Quarter and the Expo Center in North Portland. Travelers who want to continue on transit beyond this stretch of I-5, either farther north or farther south, are not adequately served. AOTA proposes constructing a 19-mile regional I-5 corridor light rail line from Hayden Island on the north to Tualatin on the south, not only extending the length of the corridor served by transit, but also addressing the congestion problem at the Rose Quarter I-5 freeway intersection, and providing increased mobility and better connections for existing TriMet routes. The resulting increased frequency and increased connectivity will dramatically boost the speed and efficiency, and thereby the ridership, of public transit on Portland's east side. The proposed light rail line is referred to here as the Max Purple Line, but it would utilize the existing Yellow Line track between Expo Center and the Rose Quarter, doubling train frequency on that stretch of track. The Max Purple Line would be implemented in two phases. The first phase would complete the missing links on the north, connecting with Hayden Island, and the south, extending transit across the Telecom Crossing Bridge to South Waterfront. This first phase would create an 8.5-mile light rail corridor. It is a low-carbon, congestion-relieving alternative to the proposed Rose Quarter I-5 freeway widening project, as it would reduce traffic demand on the freeway. Even a 5% reduction in automobile traffic during peak hours would relieve congestion at this critical intersection. This slide shows how the Purple Line would extend to Hayden Island over a new local bridge between the Expo Center and the island, carrying bicycles, pedestrians, and local auto traffic, as well as Max Light Rail. The white line on the left here depicts the route for this local traffic, including pedestrians and bicyclists. The double yellow line between Portland and Hayden Island denotes the extension of Max from the Expo Center station for both the existing Yellow Line and the new Purple Line. This also runs over the new South Channel Bridge to a new Hayden Island Transit Center. The blue lines on the right side of the picture show the connecting route of C-Tran buses to and from Clark County, Washington. This slide shows details of the northern connection of the new Purple Line on Hayden Island, if AORTA's common sense alternative for the interstate bridge replacement were also implemented. The white line on the right side of the picture depicts the route for local traffic, including pedestrians and bicyclists, that would travel between Hayden Island and Vancouver over the existing I-5 bridge, which does not need to be demolished. This bridge can continue in service, connecting Hayden Island with downtown Vancouver, I-5, and SR-14 in Washington. The wide gold line here depicts a new 8-lane freeway bridge across the Columbia River, carrying interstate traffic between Portland and Vancouver. This would not be burdened with local traffic traveling between Hayden Island and Vancouver. The new Purple Line would maintain existing connections to many TriMet routes, both buses and MAX lines, at Lombard, Rosa Parks, Killingsworth, and the Rose Quarter, as well as to C-Tran buses and TriMet line number 6. The new southern extension of the Purple Line would add even more connections, with TriMet routes 2, 6, 9, 10, 12, 14, 15, 17, 19, 20, and 30, and with the A and B loop streetcar routes. This would greatly shorten travel time for riders between North and Southeast Portland. Let's now look at the beginning of the southern section of the corridor, at the Rose Quarter Transit Center. The Purple Line would extend south from the existing Yellow Line Rose Quarter station, on down Interstate Avenue and Lloyd Boulevard, under the I-84 on-ramp, and over the Union Pacific Railroad. Existing connections at the Rose Quarter with other MAX and bus lines would remain. This slide shows the average weekday headways, the numbers in the hexagonal boxes, of all MAX lines at the Rose Quarter Junction with the addition of the Purple Line, assuming that this line would run at a frequency of 12 minutes. You may note that the current average 3.75-minute headway in each direction across the steel bridge is close to the bridge capacity. The frequencies on all the existing MAX routes cannot be reduced below 15 minutes with this routing configuration. The next 10 slides show a possible route of the Purple Line missing link, along with an adjacent express inner east side cycle path, in more detail. This first slide shows the segment from Lloyd Boulevard under the I-84 on-ramp and I-5 and over the Union Pacific Railroad tracks. The green line here depicts the new cycle path, parallel to the Purple Line, providing an alternate bicycle route along the east side of the river. Here, the line descends to grade level after crossing over the railroad, and then parallels the south branch of the railroad on the vacant property under the I-84 ramps between the railroad and I-5, just to the north of Burnside. This shows the location of the proposed Burnside Bridge station over the same alignment, looking north. This station serves the new East Burnside project and connects to both sides of Burnside with elevators and stairs to provide access to bus stops for the number 12, 19, and 20 bus lines. Here is another view of the Burnside Bridge MAX station, with a cycling lane continuing south on the right, east side, on an elevated route. This slide shows the same station and the continuation of the line, looking south. The line would cross over the I-84 freeway connection and the railroad tracks. This is a cross-section of the Purple Line and cycle track, elevated above the Union Pacific Railroad tracks that occupy city-owned Southeast 1st Avenue right-of-way. The cycle track and the sidewalks for pedestrians create additional convenience and safety by avoiding the need for these users to descend to river level along the East Bank Esplanade or to cross the UP railroad tracks at street level, as they do today. Furthermore, the elevated alignment opens up development opportunities at the Hawthorne Bridge approach level over the inaccessible railroad. The Hawthorne Bridge Max Station between Madison and Hawthorne Streets provides easy access to bus stops on the Hawthorne and Madison ramps for connections to the 2, 6, 10, 14, and 30 bus lines. It could also have stair and elevator access to grade level. The Purple Line and the cycle track would continue south of the Hawthorne Bridge, still elevated over the railroad tracks. They would diverge from the railroad tracks just north of the existing streetcar line, joining that line at the Umsey streetcar stop. The Purple Line would join the Orange Line at the Umsey Max Station. This station would provide connections not only to the Orange Max Line, but also to buses 9 and 17, as well as the number 2, when that route becomes the FX Bus Rapid Transit Line and is rerouted over the Telecom Crossing Bridge. This slide shows how the new Purple Line will merge with the existing Orange Line, crossing the Willamette River on the Telecom Crossing Bridge and connecting South Waterfront with the inner east side. The second phase of the Purple Line implementation would be to extend the line southwest to Tualatin. The new Purple Line would run through an underground tunnel, starting at the South Waterfront, serving OHSU and the VA Hospital on the Hill, with additional stops at Hillsdale, the Barber Transit Center, and PCC Sylvania. Then emerge to run above ground, with stations at Franklin, Bonita Road, Carmen Drive, and Bridgeport Village. This solution was originally proposed by A-Order in 2014. This extension of light rail, the Southwest Corridor, has already been proposed, but the designs that have been put forth have been inadequate to address the real transportation needs here. This shows how the tunneling process could be begun south of the South Waterfront. There is plenty of room for a staging area here, without disrupting current traffic patterns. Thank you for viewing this presentation. Substituting a less costly, road traffic-free, well-connected, environmentally responsible light rail line for an expensive and disruptive freeway widening project can permanently mitigate traffic congestion on I-5. It is the carrot that pairs well with the congestion pricing stick. A-Order appreciates your attention, and we hope you will support and advocate for this sensible alternative.